Ça fait 42
I
ans
came
que
to
je viens à
Calcutta
Calcutta.
42 years ago. I just got married.
J'étais jeune marié en
We
voyage de
were on our
noces.
honeymoon
Je
and we
faisais
were
de
hitchhiking
l'autostop
through
à
India,
travers l'Inde
and
et
this
j'ai
city
été
simply took
ébloui
my
par
breath
cette
away.
ville de Calcutta.
Calcutta is a city of 12 million inhabitants. It's overcrowded, with extremely difficult living conditions. The climate is awful and hot. The temperature rarely goes below 45 degrees centigrade for 8 months a year. In the slums there is neither electricity nor running water, and life expectancy rarely goes beyond 40 years of age. One day I was invited to visit one of the 3,000 slums. The place seemed to me to be so full of life, generosity, courage, love, faith and hope that I called it the City of Joy.
Que je l'ai appelé la Città della Gioia, the City of Joy, la Cité de la Joie, la Ciudad de la Alegría.
Calcutta, a painful mass of traffic, garbage, and human miseries. The civil war, the floods, the terrible dry spells that periodically burn the country, in a few years have driven millions of people to seek refuge in this jungle that today numbers 5 million unemployed people, 2 million beggars, 50,000 lepers. A monstrous human concentration, which is the highest in our planet, with 200,000 inhabitants per square kilometer. Notwithstanding that, the will to live beats in Calcutta with an insatiable rhythm, and its disinherited persons fight for their survival with extreme dignity. It was when he met this strength and desperation that Dominique Lapierre changed his life, when he met one of Calcutta's slums.
It was a place where people, instead of feeling depressed, could still celebrate and make merry. In the end, I said to my wife, I'll tell the epic of these people and their struggle for survival. People who live a life of hell, yet give us a proof of unbelievable courage, joy, and desire to smile. We stayed there 2 years, and there the book, The City of Joy, was born.
Lapierre's publisher at first didn't want to publish the novel because he thought it wouldn't sell. Later, thanks to a sort of bet, The City of Joy saw the light, and in 10 years' time, it's become the most famous book in the world after the Bible. 7 million copies have been printed in 32 different languages. In the novel, many destinies interlace. There's an American doctor trying to escape egoism, a rickshaw man who dies to give a dowry to his daughter, a French priest, Father Lambert, who has come to share his life with the inhabitants of the slums.
We are here 49 Nizamuddin Lane. The address is penned on 2 planks nailed together outside. The floor is a floor of beaten earth, and through the missing tiles of the roof, one could see pieces of sky. There is no furniture, no electricity, no running water. It's exactly the room I need, said Kowalski, ideally suited for a life of poverty, with as a bonus the right environment.
Here we are in front of Father Lambert's room. This door opens up on a kind of hovel. It's here that this man has lived for 25 years. The only thing decorating the walls was a photograph of the Shroud of Turin that today is replaced by the television.
Il y a quelques années, la Cité de la Joie.
A few years ago, the City of Joy was only made up of courtyards that about 10 rooms looked onto. Up to 10 or 12 people were able to cram into each room. It was dreadful. Many things have changed. Unfortunately, improvements don't always benefit the poor people they're intended to help. Every time living conditions are improved, the rents go up. When a house is rented, you have to pay 3 landlords, 1 for each wall. And when the prices get too high, the poor people are forced to leave and find new slums. We're working on 8 projects. The most important one involves trying to save the children with leprosy. These children do not only have leprosy, but also tuberculosis and bone leprosy. They have no chance of surviving, and they're destined to die of exhaustion at the age of 7 or 8. We're going to the Resurrection Hostel founded by our brother James Stevens, who's here with us today. Here he welcomes 250 kids from the slums of Calcutta. Most of them have tuberculosis or leprosy and all sorts of diseases caused by malnutrition.
That's what we set out to do on March the 25th, 1970. I borrowed a vehicle from Mother Teresa and we went to Bilkana, Anand Nagar, the city of joy, and picked up our first 11 children from there. Coming out of the slums, the only sort of life that they knew was almost traumatic for them. Even now we find children take some time to settle down when they come from a slum and they come to a place like this, which is green and beautiful, and the air is clean, and there are no open sewers, and their place of living is somewhat bigger than the little shoe boxes almost that they're used to living in.
By staying in the slums with leprous parents, these children were condemned to live a short life as beggars or thieves and then die of disease. In Udayan, they are fed, cared for, sent to school, and brought to professional centers. In 25 years, 5,500 workers, tailors, mechanics, and even businessmen and public officials. Initially, the boarding school hosted both boys and girls, but there's little space, and so they decided to concentrate only on little boys because in Indian society, women have motherhood as their only destiny, whereas every working man is capable of supporting up to 20 people. On a sign in the entrance of Udayan is written, "This school is a gift of love. Everything that is not donated is lost."
No, the future of the school is not sure, but it's sufficient to find families who want to help and are willing to donate a small sum every year so that our work can continue.
Ça, c'est extrêmement intéressant. C'est le cas des enfants sur lesquels on a trouvé des taches. Et ces
Spots of
taches sont
leprosy
des
were
taches de
found on
lèpre.
all of these children,
Alors, c'est tout à
where at
fait
an
un
early
stade
stage,
initial.
the skin is insensitive where the spot is, so the illness can be diagnosed easily. All you need to do is prick the area with a needle. If it's not cured at this stage, the illness gets worse and the lesions become irreversible. Here, in a few months, we can heal the disease.
And it is also because he has no sensitivity. He can walk on fire. Je pense qu'il faut faire très attention à ne
We have
jamais
to be very
assister.
careful not to simply provide welfare. The aid operations shouldn't be transformed into welfare.
Aider les plus pauvres si c'est une opération d'assistance.
Our aim is to allow them to become self-sufficient. If you give assistance, you take away initiative, and that is negative.
Si on les assiste, on les démobilise.
From Hudayan we moved to Bangor, in the heart of the Ganges Delta, one of the poorest areas of the world.
This is Calcutta with its 12 million inhabitants, and this is the Ganges Delta with another 10 million. We are here in the middle of a rural area, a place of extreme poverty. This is the village of Bangor, where we have created a large anti-tuberculosis dispensary. There is also another, smaller centre in Saberia, a third one in Basanti, a fourth one in Gosaba, in a region lacking any medical assistance whatsoever. We are in Bangor, 80 kilometers from Calcutta, where we've created a center to fight tuberculosis. It's the disease that causes the highest number of deaths, the disease of the poor. In India, it's the sort of national emergency. Thanks to this center, we've succeeded in eliminating TB in approximately 1,000 villages. We cure around 100,000 sick people a year. Anyone who comes to be treated receives a ration of medicines for a month. Sometimes the patients begin to take the medicine, and since they've never taken medicine before, they are extraordinarily receptive. And in a short space of time they stop coughing, get their strength back, put on some weight, and this is where the catastrophe occurs, because they stop taking the medicine. And shortly after, they have a relapse.
Prendre ces médicaments, car forcément il y aura une rechute au bout de 15 jours, d'un mois, de 3 mois, et il faudra à ce moment-là.
At this stage, they need a second line of medication that are much stronger and much more costly. Occasionally, someone dies or sells the medicines and doesn't show up for his checkup. The patient is supposed to come back every 30 days. Looking at his medical records, we know when it's time for his appointment. If a few days pass and we don't see him, we send a messenger on his bicycle to the patient's village to find out why he didn't come. Thanks to this method, we lose sight of only 1% of the sick people. In every village there's a leader of the sick, usually a person who we formerly cured, whose job it is to make sure that they take the medicine, respect the hygienic conditions, and don't spit on the ground. Therefore, every medical action involves teaching manners.
Bref, toute cette action médicale s'accompagne toujours d'une action d'éducation, et vraiment on peut dire, grâce à son appareil de radiographie, son laboratoire,
and thanks to the X-ray machines, laboratories, preventive measures, this has become a pilot medical center, perhaps unique in all of Bengal and possibly to many states in India. It has allowed us to heal 100,000 people, and we're proud of it.
Educating is the key word. Lapierre's project is based on the principle of making people responsible. Mothers, for example, are taught responsible motherhood and birth control.
She has 4 children. 4 children.
This girl is 20 years old and already has 4 children. Probably the biggest problem in India is the demographic one. As a matter of fact, in 10 years, India has grown by 200 million, and today its population reaches nearly 1 billion people. If in 1975 only 1 child out of 4 reached adulthood, today 4 out of 4 survive. However, unlike China, India does nothing to keep the demographic boom under control, and the situation is destined to burst.
We are here to offer you prayer. And our prayer will be to serve you. And our puja will be to worship you. Through the service of our poor brothers and sisters, especially the sick and the suffering ones. Those who feel lonely, those who are without hope. Help us to become men and women of peace, of love. Bringing happiness where we go. Always ready to offer to others what we have received from you. Our smile, our service, our love, our life.
Our trip ends here, in this cloister of pain and peace. It is the Maria Bastet Center for the care of handicapped children. Here, under the guidance of Father Francois Laborde, 125 young children affected by serious physical and mental defects find love and assistance. Before coming here, they vegetated in the slums, doomed to a premature death. Here they are cared for. They get physical rehabilitation. They learn to play and also do little jobs. They learn to sew, to design fabric or postcards, whose proceeds are used to finance the center.
Sauver un enfant atteint de lèpre.
To save a child with leprosy, heal him, send him to school, teach him a trade, costs for an entire year $500. To dig a well of drinking water in a poor village, completely changing the life of many thousands of people, costs $600. To cure and permanently heal a person with TB costs only $50. It is truly only a drop of water, but a few dollars can make the difference between absolute misery and a normal life.
Kill